I decided I wanted a home birth when I realised that all my labours were very quick, and my midwife explained to me how much easier and nicer home births were.
The really important thing is that you are suitable for a home birth. Home births are intended for women who are considered low risk, who don't have any medical complications, and that their baby is well grown.
Planning for a home birth, what that involves is we make sure that we do a home visit on you. That's really important. We go through a list of what to expect from home birth, who to call, what sort of equipment you need to prepare for. So that will all be done at 36 weeks, so you have plenty of time. You get a good relationship with your community midwife. Have a word with her, because it feels right to be at home. A lot of us now do continuity of care, so we like to be with our own women where we see before, during and after. That's what we're aiming for.
My influences for home births were my midwife, the safety of my labour, and just how much nicer they were.
Your community midwife is a great resource. She is more than happy to spend time talking to you about your options for birth. They can also give you a leaflet. We have a leaflet on birthplaces in Oxfordshire, and that's available from them, or that's available from our website. There's also social media where you can gain more information, and especially places like the Positive Birth Movement. My advice to a mum who's thinking about home birth is to try and get as much information as possible, to have the conversation with your community midwife, understand what it is that you want to do, and then talk to your family and friends about it, because everybody always has their point of view on it, but it's making sure that you have the right information to enable that decision.
When you go into labour, we would like you to call us as soon as possible. If it's in the daytime, the community team might come and assess you at home, check that everything's all right, and then leave well alone until that labour progresses. And then you will phone again. You'd phone through to the Wallingford Community Unit. They will put the call through to the midwife who's on call, and then they phone back and make a decision then to come out and see you if it's needed. And we work out from that phone call how you're feeling in labour. If we're feeling that you're progressing very quickly, it might be one midwife comes to you straight away, and then a second midwife goes to get all our equipment, so at least you've got somebody with you.
Home birth is a very safe option. It's generally as safe for you to have your baby at home as it is in a midwifery-led unit or in an obstetric unit where there are doctors, and that's a common misconception that it isn't as safe.
Think about the people that you were on to round in your home to support you. People who bring that positive influence to you. You might also want other people in your home, because if you've got other children, you might want somebody there to look after them in case they wake up in the middle of the night. In my experience, it's amazing how children sleep through everything, but you may want somebody else there to look after the children. The equipment that you need for a home birth is not a lot. The main things is to think about protection for your bedding, for your settee, for your cushions, your pillows. But that can be as simple as a cheap shower curtain. But you don't need to go out and buy anything specifically. Beg, steal and borrow is my term.
So when Crystal asked me about the home birth, I was a bit worried to start with. Some cream carpets and white walls. Didn't know if there was going to be any mess, but there wasn't at all. Got a shower curtain and loads of towels, and it went straight forward.
One thing you get at a home birth is definitely one-to-one care. The monitoring that we do is no different than if you would have at the hospital. So we have the handheld monitor that we use when you come to the clinic appointments. We're listening into the baby every 15 minutes. Obviously when you get to second stage and you're pushing, that will become more regular, and then we'll keep an eye on your blood pressure and your temperature and pulse. So we're looking at the overall well-being of you and your baby during your labour, no different than anywhere else. Everything is there, your comfort zones are all there to help you cope in labour. And then if you need any further pain relief, the community midwives do bring in Entonox, the gas and air.
What the midwife is doing when she's with you is she's constantly risk assessing to make sure that you're safe and your baby's safe, and that home birth is still the right place for you to be. If the midwife feels that things aren't going the way she would expect them to go, things aren't progressing with your labour, and that she would need some further support, she would recommend transfer into the hospital.
Transfer into hospital is, in the majority of cases, you're fine, baby's fine, but we need to have that extra input from delivery suite. And the beauty of it is that we phone ahead to the John Radcliffe, and they know that we're on our way. We'll have specified the reason why we're on our way. When you get to the John Radcliffe, the room is already set up. The colleagues up there are brilliant, so they'll have, if we need an obstetrician, they'll be ready to see us. And your pain relief continues when you're in the ambulance. The beauty of it is, though, you've done most of your labour at home, you've been assessed at home, you've had one-to-one care, and if you feel that this is not right for you, you don't feel comfortable in your home, you can go into hospital, so you can change your mind at any stage.
If this is your first baby, the transfer rate is around 45%, which people feel is quite high, but there's still more people that will give birth at home than need to be transferred. If this is your second labour and birth, then the transfer rate is around 10%. And the reason it's less second time round is that you've been through labour and birth before, your body remembers what it's done, and second labours and births are generally less than half the length of a first labour and birth.
The best bits of me having a home birth is the comfort, being able to have your own shower, having a warm cup of tea, having a chat, and just being able to have your midwife as a one-to-one rather than having to share with other women on the ward. Now that I've had my baby, I think I made 100% the right decision to have him at home.
There's a lot of evidence that say women prefer a home environment, their labour progresses much better, and they have a much more positive birth experience and transition into parenthood.
So if anyone asks me about having a home birth, I definitely recommend it. So being in your own home, being warm, and just being together.
If you're thinking of having a home birth, look at all the evidence out there. It really does back up home birth. Do discuss it. Don't just think it's not for you, because we really do support you in Oxfordshire. It is definitely an option for people.
I'd say to other women that were thinking of home births that it's just nicer, more personal, and just a lot happier.